Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I've been pretty busy on the farm here. Haven't been getting any content out. It's just what you see happening on the farm here. There's a lot going on the farm. I'm just one person doing it. So it's, as you can see from the lack of content, it is a lot of work. But thankfully now we're definitely in the wind down zone. Most of the animals are off the farm now. The pigs are gone to the butchers, sheep are all gone. Turkeys are all done, broilers are all done, so we're just left with the animals that we're going to overwinter, which is the layers and the goats. And I suppose I'll show you a few bits of what's been happening. Sometimes I've gotten a chance to take out the camera and take a few shots, but one thing I do want to talk about, I did have some predator issues. I want to talk about that, and I'm really going to talk about energizers when I'm talking about that. One other thing I want to talk about is I've been nominated for Farming for Nature Ambassador here in Ireland, which is a great honour for the work we've been doing on the farm. But we've actually been entered into a public competition, so I would really appreciate if you could help me out. Go on to the link down below and vote for me. You can vote from anywhere in the world, and all you got to do is pop in your email address and vote for me. So I'd really appreciate if anyone could help me out with that. And let's go and talk about the turkeys. So this energizer here is the Apollo 3000, and it's really portable. I really like it. It's nice and light, but it is only 3 joules output, which is fine here. I'm actually powering the sheep netting with it. The goats are in there, but I find for 2 50-meter poultry netting, this here is only going to get it up to like 2,500, depending on weather conditions and grass conditions. It really just doesn't get it hot enough for me. So in my Eggmobiles I actually have a 5 joule energizer, which is just about good enough for me to power the poultry net. And we'll go and take a look at what I done with the turkeys, and how I can overcome that, and I could do the same with the layers if I wanted. I'm just here, I'm just cleaning up from after the turkeys. Turkeys are all gone. I'm just putting away all the stuff, and about 3 weeks ago I've had a fox get some turkeys, and now I had everything done right. The nets were up, they were tight to the ground, the energizer was hitting about 2,500, and I think it just wasn't hot enough. Foxes are getting hungry this time of year, and he took 5 turkeys on me and he damaged 2, so that was like €500. They were almost ready for processing, and I stopped and I kind of analysed the setup, and I did see some massive pitfalls in the setup after that event. One thing was, there was only one safety net. If we look at our layers are closed in the Eggmobile at night. They've got an electric fence around them, so there's like a double barrier there straight away. Whereas with the turkeys there was just one net around them, and that was their only defence. And I think what happened was the fox, he got through the net somehow, and then once he scared the turkeys they all charged the net, and then they were out in the field and they were fair game for him then, so it was easy for him to pick off more of them. I think he took that, it was definitely a fox. I think he took that one because it's heading into the winter. He was trying to build up some stores of food, which was fair enough. It was my fault, I think, in the end up. So when I thought about the system, I thought I need to add either a secondary or a primary defense here. So I'm going to do 2 things in the future. One, I'm going to put a bigger energizer. I'm going to put the same kind of energizer that's in my Eggmobile. So I'm going to put a solar panel on my Gobble-to-Go, put a big battery in there, and put a big energizer on there so I can get those nets a lot hotter. But what I actually done, I'll flip you around here. So what I actually done is I took one of my smaller energizers. This is a 2 joule energizer. These are the first energizers I used because I only use them now for my sheep netting or my pig netting, but they were actually handy for this. I put a line of, this is just poly braid, and I used these just these plastic posts, and I went the whole way around, and I fixed the wire a little bit off the ground and just a little bit outside the net, so it wasn't touching the net or the ground anywhere, and I ran that the whole way around the net. And because I was just electrifying this little bit of cable, that was hitting at like 7,000 volts, and if the fox came along to put his nose in anywhere around the wire, he was going to hit that wire and he was not going to come back. So yeah, I had two energizers basically running. One energizer was running the net, and then I had a second energizer which was running the hot line around them, and that line is really hot. And when I think about it, it was a no-brainer. Like that, I've added an energizer to the system. Yes, that's like maybe 400 euros, but there was over 12,000 euros worth of turkeys inside this net, and I had only one primary defense. So in hindsight, I'm definitely going to have, what I'm going to actually do next year is I had the net, the energizer that we just looked at that's on the goats there now on this, but I'm going to put a bigger one. I'm going to put like at least a 5 or a 7 joule one, run off a solar panel and a battery on the Gobbly-Go, and then I'll probably fix this here system onto the Gobbly-Go as well, so that I can run this out, and I'll not use this. I'll get a proper reel so it's faster, like a Galler reel, and put a secondary line, real hot line around the bottom. And I think if I was bringing my layers up to the other farm, this happened up at the other farm, I don't have as much problem with foxes down here, but if I was bringing my layers up here, if you're afraid you couldn't get your layer net hot enough and you had predator issues, I would do the same thing. I put another energizer on and put a real stinking hot line around the bottom, because that's how the fox, he comes along and tests the line, and if that line is hitting its 8,000-9,000 volts, he's not going to come back. Whereas if you're only getting your net up to like 3,000, and then it's wet, that'll bring it down a bit, and the grass is long, that'll bring it down another bit. I just think this is definitely what I'm going to do in future to protect my animals. I'm just here and I'm picking some blackberries here, and you can actually see the slewberries, or there's a slewberry there, it's blackthorn. And this bush has actually got a lot of fruit on it, and I'm actually in, this is an old pig paddock. We had the pigs in here about 2 months ago, and you can see the recovery it's got. Grasses are actually starting to come through here. Sorry about the shadow, guys, I'll spin around. You can see we've got grasses coming through, and a lot of recovery, and even back through here you can see the recovery. This was all cleared with the pigs, and this all used to look like this here. I could have kept them longer, but the weather got really wet, so I wanted to move them on. And goats will be the next thing now we'd move through here. If we wanted to turn this back to pasture, I'm still not decided on what I want to do with it. I want to open it up more, I think, for sure, and maybe get more grasses going, but keep some of the bushes. So I might move the goats through here for a little bit, but that's the key here at Heather Hill Farm, letting the animals do the work. That's the great thing about being a diverse farm. I've got a big toolbox of animals for doing loads of different jobs. I'm going to stop yakking and get collecting more berries. Because it was getting wet, and I decided that the end of September, or sorry, the beginning of September is going to be the time I want to get the sheep off the farm. So I'm not going to overgraze the grass too far into the winter, and it'll give us the best possible run for the laying hens. So the hogget ewes, which are the bigger ones with the horns, they're going off to a breeder sale because that's where I'll probably get the most for them. And then the lambs are going off to the butchers on Sunday, so the ewes are going out tomorrow morning, and my dad will bring them off to the market. And then the lambs are going off, got some pigs going to the butchers, and we'll get some lambs taken away as well. And I'll keep the goats on. Some of the lambs have done really well, you can see them there. They should kill out well. This is Gilbert II. He's this year's kid, but I got him to put out with the goats. He's down here at Dad's farm because I don't want to put him out for another 6 weeks. And he stinks when you put him with the well, I think he stinks. Goats probably think it's attractive, but smells real bad when you put him with the goats, and I want milk, so I don't want the milk tasting bad. So he'll hang out here. There's my dad's got some rams down here that he's hanging out with, and he's pretty content. And yeah, so he's gonna hopefully be the daddy to next year's kids. So I've been playing about with the Eggmobile system, and what we're actually doing now is we're doing afternoon moves. I've just been playing about with this. A couple of reasons. One, if you don't like getting out of bed early in the morning, or if maybe you got to get the kids off to school, or you got little ones you got to look after in the morning, then you need some way around that, because you can't be out in the field for an hour sorting out Eggmobiles if you're running 2 Eggmobiles or whatever. So I'm actually doing this now. The reason why I want to do it is because I'm looking to get the service down to, I think I could even do servicing the Eggmobiles every 2 days. Now you would obviously come by and check them, but I think you could actually only need to go into the hens every 2 days. Now that's based on moving them every second day, and you would collect the eggs every second day. And for that you would need automatic feeders, which I could do because I've got my Eggmobiles automated. But what I've done here is, so this is the paddock they were in behind us, and we simply make 2 pens or 2 sections with the net. So you can see I've already dropped the net here. So we had a net up here, and I just made a new net. So you need 4 50-meter nets to do this, but I just made them, and I opened the gate between them and then just fed the birds down here and pulled the Eggmobile down when the birds were eating. I've been doing this for a month now, and I haven't squashed any birds. My Eggmobile is only moving slow with my winch. People that say you're going to squash hens, it doesn't happen. Hens aren't stupid. I imagine if you squash a hen, she was probably a sick hen or something that couldn't get out of the way. But you feed the birds, they all move out of the way. And this way now, with my automated Eggmobiles, the birds can still get out first thing in the morning. And I've started to train them to get fed around 8 o'clock. So they're happy now. They're waiting for me. I come at 8 o'clock in the morning and feed them. So I actually don't have to get up early to look after my layers. They're still completely moved onto new pastures. I move my birds every second day. I have 2 Eggmobiles, so there's one moving every day. And my plan is, well, what I'm thinking of doing is making a system whereby I could have enough space to hold 2 days worth of eggs. I'm probably going to design a new Eggmobile this winter that'll have that. So it'll hold 2 days worth of eggs. So I would come, move the Eggmobile, collect the eggs, which would have 2 days worth of eggs, set everything up, and I would have automated feeders. So I would have feeders probably coming after the Eggmobile, and I'd probably put them on timers so they would open for maybe 10 minutes twice a day or whatever. I would work it out so that I was feeding them the amount of feed I wanted, and then they would completely look after themselves. I would just have to come along and glance at them, and every second day come and move them, collect the eggs. That would be a pretty neat system, wouldn't it? And you would still have completely happy hens. And I don't need to worry about closing them in at night. So effectively I could come for, you know, if I was running 2 Eggmobiles, I'd say maybe an hour. If I could probably move both of them the one day and collect the eggs. So maybe 2 hours every second day would look after my hens, and then just a casual, maybe a 5-minute walk through in the morning and in the evening every day. That'd be a pretty cool system. The reason why I want to get the bulk of the work down to a minimum amount of time. So because I know a lot of people have kids, it's very difficult to bring kids onto the farm and get work done unless they're like 10 years old. If they're younger than that, they're not helping you. You've got to keep an eye on them. It's very difficult. So if you just got to walk up through here and check on everybody, you can bring the kids with you. That's going to be fun for them. They're not going to be here for more than 5 minutes. They're not going to lose interest. So that's going to be real easy. And then you know that every second day I got to go and do my work, and you can organize to have someone look after the kids while you do that. And again, this is all possible through the automation of the Eggmobiles, because the birds are still let out first thing in the morning, whatever time you decide, and they're closed in at night. but you can get your 8 hours solid sleep, and that's what's important for me. Is getting, I've kind of shifted to, I'm just a lot easier person to work with and to be around when I've got 8 hours sleep, so that's why I'm working towards. So if you want to check out the automation for the Eggmobiles, you can check out our online training, and the link in the description. Low cost automation is really robust, really simple to install, and yeah, as I said, this winter I'm probably going to build another Eggmobile, and that's going to be the bells and whistles. You know, it's going to be a EU certified Eggmobile, so I'm planning that out at the minute, and hopefully I'll produce some content for that. So I've just loaded up these two girls, which are the last pigs here on the farm, and very simply made a little pen here for them and give them time to load themselves into the trailer. Just put the feed inside and they load it themselves up and then close the door. This one here is a very nervous one. Well, she's not too bad, and she lets me touch her. She used to be very nervous, so this one here would follow me off a cliff, so I just had to wait until she loaded herself up and then closed the door. And that's low stress pig handling. They really don't like loading doors like this here, so I had to cover the door with ply so they couldn't see through it, and then they loaded on no problem. And these are actually not going to the butcher until tomorrow. I'm going to put them in a shed down at my dad's. He's going to take them to the butcher with his trailer for me. I've got some other pigs going too, so we'll put them inside so that we're not stressed out tomorrow trying to move them or anything, and it'll give them a chance to relax inside and get used to a change in environment so they're not stressed out. And this one's going to have a little lie down. But awesome job. It's good now to be getting the animals off the farm and winding down into winter mode. And chickens are doing awesome, and the lambs are off up there. They're going to go to the butcher as well tomorrow, so I got to get them in and get all the paperwork sorted out for them. Just been to the butcher and picked up some of our bacon. Look at the quality of the marbling on that bacon. Yummy! And got some hams, and my favourite are always the sausages. So I got to get these into the fridge, keep them cool. And some of this is going off to our pork customers, some of it's going in the freezer for sales later in the year. That's some top quality bacon. That's it for this video, guys. Just some of my thoughts there on Energizers. I just think there's a lot of maybe misunderstanding around Energizers and how hot you actually get poultry nets. There's a lot of fence in a poultry net, and it's hard to get that heated up. I've even tried it on Energizers hooked up to the mains, and you need to be up at 5-7 joules to get it to any sort of meaningful heat spark. Because a big thing about Energizer too is the earthen rods. Actually, you know, the more earthen rods you have, the better your Energizer is going to be as well. So that could be something to look at as well. But hopefully I can get more and more content out now that things are starting to slow down on the daily grind on the farm. I'm working on some projects now, and I'll maybe make a bit more content on my thought process, and hopefully I'll do a video soon and kind of summing up how the season went for me. There was some really good parts, some really not so good parts, so I want to get a video on that. And again, guys, if you could help me out and vote for me on the Farming for Nature website, I'd really appreciate it, and see you in the video soon, guys.